My name's Timothy Shaner. I'm a junior here at Warner University, and today we're going to be talking about a move that is very important in soccer, that is striking the ball, whether that's passing or shooting the ball. In soccer, it's a crucial part of the game. The better you are at striking the ball, the better that you are at passing, the better you're shooting, placing the ball. So it's a very crucial part of the game. The first thing we're going to talk about is concentric, eccentric, and static movements whenever we're striking a soccer ball. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to have Donovan. He's a soccer player here at Warner. He's going to strike the ball, and then we're going to slow it down and look at each different movement and the whole movement of striking the soccer ball. So if you're going to go ahead and strike the ball. Okay, so when he strikes the ball, if you want to go ahead and start it in slow motion this time. The first one is so he's static. So whenever he's planted, whenever he's here, he's static. So go ahead and plant, and then whenever he steps back, that's starting the concentric motion. So if you want to go ahead and go into the backswing of it, that here he's tightening the muscles, which is starting to increase that power. And then whenever he starts that swing through, he's lengthening the muscles, which starts the eccentric movement to then follow through with that power. So when he strikes the ball, the power transfers from that leg into the ball, which propels it forward. So whenever he's going all the way through, that's the eccentric movement. And then when he plants, then it's back to static because the muscles are how they should be. So it goes from concentric to eccentric to then static movement. Next, we're going to talk about the kinetic chain in the body. So there's 5 different parts of the kinetic chain, and kicking the soccer ball actually has to do with all 5 of those lines of the kinetic chains, or otherwise known as lines. So in the first motion, whenever Donovan brings his foot back to start building the power, he's using 3 different chains. He's using the frontal line, the back line, and then also the spiral line, which goes across your body, because that's the rotational of the hips. So whenever he rotates his hips backwards, that's the spiral line coming at an angle. And he's also using the back line and the quad and the calf when he brings it up. And then he's also using the front line because it involves a little bit of that quad. The quad in the front and the hamstring in the back. And then when he comes to swing through and makes contact with that ball, he's using the sideline, which is the hip flexor. That's the main part of that sideline that he's using. And then he's also using the front and back functional line, which is the groin, the core, and then also up into the upper body. But the majority of that part, when he strikes that ball, is the groin and the core. And then when he follows through, it's back into the side, it's back into that front line, back line, and then also the spiral line whenever he is striking the ball all the way through. So the last thing we're going to talk about is the prime movers, and then also the stabilizers as he strikes the ball. So the prime movers are those muscles that are being used in that form of striking the ball, and then the stabilizers, those are also being used, but they aren't the main muscles that are being used. They're more of the muscles that are kind of keeping him stable, making sure that he doesn't lose balance or things like that. So the prime movers, whenever he's striking the ball, would be the hamstring, the quad, the groin, and the hip flexor, because those are all that part that rotate the leg, rotate the upper part of the thigh. So whenever he goes back, these are right in here. All these muscles are working to get that power to then swing through and propel the ball forward. And then his stabilizers would be the leg on this side, because that's what's keeping him balanced. So all the muscles in that leg are the stabilizers. And then also his arm, the opposite arm of the leg he's hitting the ball with, because that's also kind of a balance. That's making you stable whenever you are going through to strike that ball. And then as he strikes the ball, whenever you strike the ball, you're supposed to land on that opposite foot, so then that would become a stabilizer, just kind of stop your momentum from going forward, so that whole leg would then become that other stabilizer at the end of the motion.